Hello, welcome. Maria McMahon here with you. And in this video, I'm going to talk about red flag 49, which is actually very, very short, and I'll explain why. So red flag 49 is love bombed, devalued, discarded again. Now, the reason this is a short one is because all the red flags I've talked through, which is 48, and now we're on 49, I've covered love bombing in detail. I've covered devaluing. I've covered discarding. I've covered hoovering. I've covered smear campaigns and a whole bunch more. So what happens is once you've gone through all that and you get hoovered back in, you've come full circle. So what I want to do with this, the reason I made this flag 49 was to remind you of all that you may have been through if you've been through the whole cycle of narcissistic abuse. I want to remind you what you've been through is what you will have to go through again if you allow yourself to be hoovered back in. You've been there, you've done that, you've got the abuse t-shirt. You're still suffering possibly the trauma of the abuse. You might still be trauma bonded, in which case the likelihood of you being successfully hoovered back in is much, much higher. But you're just going to walk straight back into the lion's den, except each time, and we know this from research and from working with different clients and hearing it from people in the group, is it gets worse every time you go back. The bond gets deeper, the trauma gets deeper. You know, the cycle begins exactly the way it did in the beginning when the narc love bombed you. And then when they love bomb you in the hoovering stage, this fires up all the memories of the golden period. And of course, the trauma bonding also kicks in too. It really kicks up a notch. And it can be literally impossible to resist the pull. And I've talked about all these issues in the various videos, as I said. So if you are out of the relationship now, please go back over my videos on hoovering and trauma bonding, just to remind yourself and to keep yourself away. If you don't, the devaluing will begin very soon after the narc has succeeded in hoovering you back in. And it typically starts much, much more quickly than it did in the original version. It just kicks in a lot more quick. And what happens is you suffer even more damage to your psyche, because you will have been lifted up so high again, your hopes up to the moon, and then suddenly dashed back to the ground again. And the pain of that is intense. And then as soon as the narc is fed up with you, they'll discard you again. It's a horrible, vicious cycle that leaves you an emotional wreck. And people go back again and again and again because of this cycle and because of the trauma bonding. So don't let it happen to you. If you get out, stay out. And I'd like, if you haven't already got my book, the link is in the description below the video, please get my book, or at the very least, have a look at the cover and let that cover be a reminder to you. I selected that cover for a reason. There's a huge bouquet of red roses staring at you. And you can imagine roses are a symbol of romance. Typically, male-female romances, but they actually are also often used in same-sex relationships. Gay guys and lesbian women give each other flowers. So they actually do symbolize love, red roses, regardless of gender and the relationships of the genders. So you imagine, you've got this fabulous bouquet of roses promising all this love, and there's you going all soft and gooey and forgiving. But stop for a moment, and this is why I say look at my cover, because in the middle of that bouquet there is a yellow narcissus, the flower after which narcissism is named. It's sitting right amid the roses. And you need to keep remembering that for yourself, that in among the roses, and metaphorically, the roses can be a symbol of that whole romantic relationship. Right in the middle of it is a narcissist. Get a copy of my book or a cover and keep it somewhere that you can check on it and remind yourself. If you're ever tempted, just look at that and remind yourself. And read again or watch again my videos on YouTube, the red flags, and make a note of the ones that resonate most with you and write it down in your journal. And let it be a reminder to you that you're never going to let this happen to you again. You're not going to let this happen to you again. Now, my final red flag is number 50 after 49. And it's an important one to watch, because at the end of all of this cycle, awful cycle of narcissistic abuse, what you'll find is that you've actually lost yourself. So many people have said this to me. But what I want you to know is that you can find yourself again. So I'm going to share in my next video some vital information with you on how you can start to heal and recover. So that's coming up next. So I definitely urge you to watch red flag number 50, okay? So thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you found the series helpful, and I do hope you'll come back and visit me right now for the next video. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.